All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RACHAA, QADASH. In this video, I wanted to continue on speaking on the spiritual war, the spiritual army being built up by the commander-in-chief, right? Which is Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Okay, so first, before I start anywhere, I want to start reading. Before I start on the precepts for, the spiritual army and bring that out, I wanted to read a couple scriptures as an introduction. All right, so this is Romans chapter 3, verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? And the reason why I'm reading this is because I stated that it's a spiritual army being built up. And usually something that's spiritual, a lot of people, they cannot believe, they cannot spiritually discern because they're too natural, okay? They don't have a spiritual discernment. So they can't see these things are moving in the spirit, even though it's happening right in front of their eyes, right? All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Okay? So some people are going to understand and see, and some people are going to get it, and some people are not. But blessed are those that can see, because what I'm about to go into, you have to be spiritually discerned in order to see these things and to know that prophecy is being fulfilled, right? So one last introductional, if that's a word, verse. I'm going to read 2nd Esdras chapter 15, starting at 1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in your mouth, saith Yahawah, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. These words that the precepts that I'm about to bring out, they're faithful and they're true. And whatsoever was written aforetime was written for our learning, okay? It says, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So I don't care personally. I don't care if you don't believe what I'm about to go into or you do. I mean, I do care if you do. It's a good thing, and you're blessed if you can understand, if you can be edified. But as for the incredulity, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Okay, so that is the judgment for the unfaithful. If you don't believe, then you just, that's your lot, and you're just gonna pass away and perish in your unfaithfulness. Okay. So I think in another video I was speaking about the spiritual army and the connection between the physical army and then a spiritual army. Okay, so where should I start? Yeah, I want to go to Revelations 11 as a background to what's going on, because this is prophecy, right? Revelation, these things are being revealed to us in these last days. All right, I'm going to start at number 4. Yeah, I'm going to start at 4. It says, these are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. All right. So there's 2 candlesticks that are mentioned are the whole house of Israel. Okay. They're the whole house of Israel. And it says, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. All right, so these the house of Israel has been raised up, right? As an army. They're standing on their feet. Matter of fact, let me go down to verse 11. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Okay. And which version? I'm getting ahead of myself. My bad. All right. So ultimately, if you have seen camps being raised up and set up around Babylon the Great and all around the world and on the internet, there's an awakening. There has been an awakening, right? Like it says, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life for the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. Basically an exceeding great army pursuant to Ezekiel 37, right? So these men have been raised up to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, which is in America, right? United States of America. I stated in another previous time, that in order for this kingdom to fall, it has to be taken out. It has to be taken down, right? But each camp, and a camp, what is a camp? Okay, let's look up what a camp is. This is important to understand in order to really see what's going on, get the full sense, right? Camp, it says a place where an army lodges temporarily, right? Come from in Latin, campus, open field, level space, open space for military exercise, okay? Contest, battle, fight, war. So all of these things written about camp is related to war, right? Non-military senses by 1550s, the meaning body of adherents of a doctrine or cause. So this is also, the camp is the men out there prophesying, but also they're part of the body of Hamashiach, and pushing forward that doctrine and the cause, basically setting up that standard, that raising that flag, right? And so these camps are basically similar to a garrison. If you go and search garrison, really wanted to focus on, let's see, down here it says meaning a fortified stronghold, a body of troops in a fortress. All right, so before, like, one of the main tactics of war, right, is besieging a city, right? And so this city of Babylon, and well, like I said, these garrisons are they're military posts, all right? So through the spirit, the camps out here and even on the internet, just through the internet, is military posts, spiritual military posts being set up through the spirit. These are not physical. The weapons of warfare are not carnal, okay? But they're spiritual military posts. And it just goes to show you that Babylon the Great is surrounded. So the city is being besieged, right? And we can see this through history, how camps were brought about in Israel. Let's go to Numbers. Let me go to Numbers chapter 1. In verse number 52. It says, because the camps were set up during Exodus. These camps were set up during Exodus out of Egypt. And just like back then, the Most High required that which is past. So these things are happening over again through the Spirit, right? This America also is known as spiritual Egypt as well. So what it makes it's fitting that camps are set up, right? So Numbers 1 verse 52. It says, and the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard throughout their hosts. Okay, this is, let me go to Numbers 2. So basically these camps are being set up not by their own like tribes or whatever, but basically they're pitching their tents. They go out and they prophesy in the gates of the nobles. Okay, and I'm gonna go to that verse as well. But this is Numbers 2:2. It says, I'm gonna read in NLT. It says, for the whole community of Israel record the names of all the warriors by their clans and families, list all the men. Okay, so it's a congregation. I'm going to read it in the KJV. It says, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by their house of their fathers, which the number of their names, every male by their polls. I don't think that was the right words. But basically, these camps have been set up before, but this time it's through the Spirit. All right, Israel, Yasharallah, the true Israelites, are the spiritual army blowing the trumpet in the gates of the nobles, just like how he blew the trumpet walking around the walls of Jericho 7 times before shouting. That's the example of, in the Spirit, bringing down the stronghold, the strongholds that our people have, and also the stronghold of Babylon the Great, just to casting down all the imaginations, completely going against the adversary, right? So this is through the Spirit. These are not physical things. Physically, of course, we're prophesying against Babylon the Great, but it's going to be manifested as well by the falling of this kingdom. So right now it's just speaking, prophesying, blowing the trumpet, right? Blowing the trumpet is giving a warning that something is coming. So things, as you can see, things are getting worse, and it's not looking too good for the future of America, Babylon the Great. All right. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. Starting at verse 10. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Right? Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And there is a lot of spiritual wickedness in high places. The rich, I'm going to just say that I'm going to give the metonymy of the rich, meaning the elite, the people who pretty much, the principalities that run this whole country, the great city. So it's spiritual warfare, right? And like I went to 2 Corinthians before chapter 10. It says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, false doctrines, going against everything that we've been taught as the standard ideology through Edomite supremacy, right? We're casting down imaginations and everything, high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought, the obedience of Hamashiach, okay? Now let's go to Numbers chapter 10, and I know I'm kind of moving fast, but it's a lot of verses I want to get to and break down. Numbers 10, verse 9. It says, and if ye go to war in your land, so remember we're in spiritual warfare, if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and ye shall be remembered before Yahawah your power, and ye shall be saved from your enemies. So that's exactly what's going on right now. Okay, we are going to war against the enemy that oppress us. And while we're doing this, we're blowing a trumpet to our people, letting them know that, please, you got to come up out of the ways of oppression. You're being oppressed, letting them know they're being oppressed and that they need to call out to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, and he's going to remember it. So right now, as prophecy is unfolding, he's hearing us, he's listening to us, and to going against this place, and we're putting our trust in him instead of trusting in oppression. Okay? As a matter of fact, let me go to that verse. Trust. Look, it says, trust not. This is Psalms chapter 62, verse 10. It says, trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. So we're not trusting and depending on Babylon the Great to save us, because we've been oppressed and there's nothing they can do for us. We need divine intervention, right? But some people, they despise the word, the words of the prophets. This is Isaiah 30:12. It says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Let's continue reading. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instance. And that is the future judgment of Babylon the Great. Our enemy has been set in slippery places, so he's going to fall. And this is the prophecy against them, the judgment against them, right? So we know the Israelites have been spoiled, meaning like they've been taken advantage of and stripped of their identity, which is another war tactic, holding captive the other army as a prisoner of war. So right now we're kind of like prisoners of war in this this golden city, right? Babylon the Great. So moving on, as you know, like I said, the Israelites are raising up the banner or flag as an ensign. It is is really a declaration of war. So us coming up against the philosophies and doctrines of this world is really a declaration of war, because they've been using psychological warfare to keep our people in a sleep state. And what these camps are doing, and what the Israelites are doing, waking up, the true Israelites waking up, they are trying to set up the new standard, and letting them know that this you're going down, basically. And that is a threat to, the rich. That's a threat to the rich and the people who wants to be a part of this system, right? It's a declaration of war and a threat of a new standard. And camps, like I said, are a part of warfare. And setting up camps in the midst of Babylon the Great is the flag being raised and a sign of war. Of course, this starts as a spiritual war. Like I said, this is a spiritual army. But Yahawashi is coming back, you know, not as a man. Matter of fact, let me go to Isaiah 47 to bring that out. All right, Isaiah 47:1. This is what the prophets are out there doing right now. Before destruction comes, there's always prophets out there letting you know, giving you a warning. Okay. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Right? A lovely princess. Because knowing this is Babylon the Great, she's called tender and delicate because no one has ever won against America on her soils. No one has penetrated, you know, Babylon the Great. Nobody's penetrated her yet, but that is soon to be the thing of a thing of the past. Okay, because eventually she's going to have to sit in the dust. And like I said, this is the prophesying against Mount Seir, against Babylon the Great. This is what was commanded through prophecy. Matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah 58. Isaiah 58:1. It says, "Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins." So as we're also prophesying against Babylon the Great, we letting our people know their transgressions and their sins, like just letting them know that they're naked. Okay, just like in the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve were found naked, they had prophets letting them know, showing them their transgression. Okay, because the Most High, he speaks through the prophets. Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi speaks through the prophets. All right, he doesn't speak from heaven, like as in you hear his voice, like his raw voice. He does it through the men. Okay, let's go back to Isaiah 47. All right, verse number 2, it says, "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover your locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, and pass over the rivers." So this is exposing Babylon the Great for all her iniquities that she has done against the Israelites, the captives, okay, the hidden ones. This is exposing. It says in verse 3, it says, "Your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, your shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." So this is Yahawashi coming back. Yahawah through Yahawashi is coming back to redeem Yasharallah or Israel from this wicked place, Babylon the Great. He's going to take vengeance on the people and this whole, just the whole geographical location, right? It says, "As for our Redeemer, Yahawah of hosts." Remember, host means armies. So he's coming back to search. It's like a search and rescue mission to save the elect. Okay, it says the Yahawah of hosts is his name, and the Holy One of Israel. Okay, he's the Lord of heaven's armies. Right. So let's go further into the understanding that, you know, we have been spiritually awakened, right? As prophesied. And we have been commanded to warn the people of the sure destruction that's coming. All right. So first, let me go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 33. Verse number, I'm going to start at 1. It says, and again the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coats and set him for their watchman. I'm going to start back over, my bad. It says, Son of man, speak to the children of your people and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coasts and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. Okay? He blows the trumpet and warn the people. And it says, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet, and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. Okay, so this is the purpose of the watchmen being set up to, because watchmen they will be it says on the coasts, but they'll be in towers. They'll be farther out. They'll be the one that sees afar off, and that's what prophets do. They see things afar off in the distance, and it works as a defense detection system, like the modern day military. They are set up to alert in the event of a potential threat. Like there's plenty of militaries that have these detection systems that lets them know or alarms them that a threat is coming, and that's exactly what is going down with the Israelites. They're setting up. Okay, let me just go down to verse number 7. It says, So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. Okay, so that is the purpose of these camps as well, is to warn the house of Israel, telling them their transgressions and telling them what is coming. The sword is coming, right? Let's go to Joel chapter 2, starting at verse 1. It says, Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahawah cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Okay? That's plain. It says a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So there's a day coming that's not going to be like any other day ever, and ever afterwards. Okay, I'm gonna read it in NLT. It says, it is a day of darkness and gloom, a day of thick clouds and deep blackness. Suddenly, like a dawn spreading across the mountains, a great and mighty army appears. Okay, nothing like it has been seen before or will ever be seen again. Right, that's plain. Like, this is what the watchmen are prophesying about. Right, they're setting that standard. They letting Babylon the Great know that sure destruction is coming, and we moving on from there. You gotta just basically get ready. Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse number 12. It says, Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For Yahawah have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. I'm going to read it again in the NLT. It says, raise the battle flag against Babylon. Reinforce the guard and station the watchmen. Prepare an ambush, for Yahawah will fulfill all his plans against Babylon. That is plain. So that is the purpose of the army raising up, the army of Israel, being raised up to, let them know and reinforce their guard and basically setting up the standard, because, Babylon the Great is going down. Let's go down to verse number 19. It says, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahawah of hosts is his name. You see how Yahawah keeps reminding you, like, he's the power of the armies. He exists of armies. Okay, that's his name. Yahawah is his name. Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. That's Yahawah in the name of YAHAWASHI. Okay, verse 20, it says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms. See? So he uses nations, of course, as weapons, but he said Yasharallah is his battle axe and weapons of war. So when Yahawashi come back, he's coming back to subdue these nations, right? He's going to shatter all these armies of the world, of this kingdom, right? We're going to take down this kingdom. We're going to break into the pieces of the nations, and the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. Okay. So let's go back to Revelations 11, right? Because this word is too much for the nobles, the rich. Okay. They can't handle it. They can't handle the heat, right? It's Revelations chapter 11 and verse number 4. Like I said, it says, I'm going to read in NLT. It says, these two prophets are the two olive trees and the two lampstands that stand before the Lord of all the earth. Okay? So and earlier it's talking about the two witnesses, right? These are two witnesses we're witnessing, which is the whole house of Israel testifying against this place for its atrocities and sins and transgressions, and even Israel's transgressions, right? It says, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Okay, so this is speaking on. Let's go to Isaiah 32. Let's go to Isaiah 32, because we are told to basically go into the gates of the nobles. Oh, this is the wrong chapter, my bad. Isaiah 13, verse number 2. Because this is the same thing as Isaiah 58, verse 1. And cry aloud, spare not. Okay? It says, Isaiah 13 and 2, it says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. So these words, these prophecies, the speaking out against, is a threat to the nobles, and they are hearing it. They actually hear this. It says in the NLT, raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop, call up an army against Babylon. Wave your hand to encourage them as they march into the palaces of the high and mighty. That's different, okay? shake the hand. But shaking the hand is basically them telling them, oh, I guess, yeah, encourage. I don't want to say I guess, but yeah, that's another way to look at it as well. But shaking the hand is the Israelites speaking and prophesying against and telling them, the nobles, of their wrongdoings. Just like let's see, John the Baptist, when he went up against Herod, King Herod, and his brother's sister, when they committed adultery, what did he do? He told them about themselves, like, hey, that's unlawful. You're not supposed to be doing that, having sex with your brother's sister, right? And what happened? He got his head chopped off. He got it beheaded, I should say, right? So let's go back to Revelations 11. In verse 5, because I want to make a point. It says, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must be killed in this manner. Okay, so let's Jeremiah chapter 5, verse number 14. It says, wherefore thus saith Yahawah, the power of armies, the power of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in your mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Right? So these words are devouring the nobles. It is a dreadful sound in their ears. Okay, pursuant to Job, is a dreadful sound in their ears. It's devouring them. They can't take it. It's, so that just proves that the words, right, it's the fire that's coming out of their mouth, devouring their enemies, the enemies, right? Let's go to Hosea chapter 6. Hosea chapter 6, verse 5, it says, therefore have I hewed them by the prophets. So the words of the prophets are coming from Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. It says, I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and your judgments are as the light that goeth forward. Okay? So the words, which is, also compared to a sword, as well as a weapon. These words are basically, it's hurting them. It's weaponized against the nobles, the rich. Okay? So let's go back to Revelations chapter 11. Matter of fact, I'm going to explain further about how, since these words are affecting them for bringing down Babylon the Great, they're going to try to make them an offender for the word. Okay? They're offended and threatened. So what are they going to do? They're going to accuse. Okay? This is Isaiah 29, verse 21. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to go start at 20. Yeah, I'm going to start at 19. My bad. It says, the meek also shall increase their joy in Yahawah, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. It says that make a man. So these are the scoffers, okay? And this the terrible one really is talking about the wicked, okay? It's just, and the scorner is consumed by what? The words which which they are hewn down or consumed by the fire. They're devoured. It says in the NLT, it says, and those who plot evil will be killed. It says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gates, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. NLT, it says those who convict the innocent by their false testimony will disappear. That's good. It says a similar fate awaits those who use trickery to pervert justice and who tell lies to destroy the innocent. So yeah, you got colorful law going on down in Babylon the Great. You got all types of false testimonies going against, the poor or our people. So they're going to make them an offender for a word. How do they do that? Let's go to Psalms chapter 64 and verse 2, starting at 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. So they're having counsels, right? How can we take these people down? This is them having a briefing, through this spiritual warfare, spiritual wickedness in high places, right? It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, the man of sin, okay? The man of sin, we know who that is, Idumea, which is the Edomites, the so-called white people, right? The elite, the rich, the bankers. It says, who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. So as you can see again, these words have an effect. They have an effect. They can be used as in a spiritual warfare sense. You got psychological warfare, you got propaganda, okay? And propaganda is not all bad because propaganda there's many different definitions of it, but they use propaganda to spread misinformation and to basically make the Israelites become a reproach, right? So moving on, it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. So they're doing all of this in secret, setting up fake instances or doing anything to get the ministry blame. It says, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And this is how proud they are. You know what I'm saying? They have these evil plans, setting up traps in secret, trying to get, the Israelites to be in a bad light, but you can't do nothing against the truth, but for the truth, okay? You can't take down this thing. This is a divine by divine design, okay? By the power of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. It says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. So this is what they do. They plot their crimes. They search out iniquities, meaning they try to figure out how can we get these people, these men, how can we accuse them of doing something even though they really didn't do it, right? They're trying to figure out a way to get them jammed up, okay? For lack of better words. It says both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. They're deep. They know what makes the Israelites, they know the psychology, right, of the Israelites. They know the ins and outs. They know they put certain chemicals in the food to attack the cells and the the DNA of the Israelites. That's how deep their heart is. They're cunning, right? It says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Okay, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Okay, so they actually do that now. They make their tongues fall. They have whistleblowers and letting you know through predictive programming in these movies, what they have in plan, what they have in store. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, it's for their own destruction. In the Proverbs it talks about how those who basically lay a snare, a pit for someone, they gonna fall in it themselves. Okay. So those bitter words, like I said, are like propaganda. And I wanted to let's go to propaganda, what it means. Because I know it's been a while. Let's see. Propaganda. Propaganda, I think the definition I wanted is, the first one, it says, short for Congregatio di Propaganda Fide, which is a congregation for propagating the faith. And that's exactly what the Israelites are doing today. We're propagating the faith. We're pushing forward. Look, it says the word is properly the ablative fem gerundive of Latin propagare, set forward, extend, spread, increase. Yahawashi must increase, we must decrease. Okay? So that's what it's forwarding the faith, the new standard, setting up that flag, the banner, for the faith, the doctrine, right? The camp, that's what camps are. They are a body of adherents to the faith or doctrine, right? It says, hence, any movement or organization to propagate some practice or ideology, okay? So it's two opposing forces. You got good against evil, the just against the terrible ones, the wicked, all right? So they pushing their filth out, and we as Israelites are pushing out the practice and ideology of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, through the scriptures, through the precepts, through the Holy Spirit, right? So no longer are we staying upon trusting in oppression and depending on Babylon the Great to help us. Now we're pushing the ideology that is contrary and that is opposing theirs, opposing their enterprise. It says the modern political sense, dissemination of information intended to promote a political point of view. Yes, we're promoting information in a point of view, a political point of view, as in the government in the kingdom of heaven, the elect is coming to bring the real new world order, okay? It says dates from World War I, not originally pejorative and implying base bias or deliberately misleading. Okay? So propaganda can be used to mislead and bring forth misinformation. They do a lot through the media. They show what they want you to see, and they as propaganda to forward a certain ideology, whether they want you to look at a certain nation or country in a bad light, or and so it can justify them to take them down and justify them to so-called save. They create a problem and create the solution using that Hegelian dialect. Okay, so this is what the proper propaganda they're going to use against the Israelites. So let's go to Isaiah 34. I know I don't switch lanes a little bit, but it's through the Spirit. So Isaiah chapter 34 and verse number 8, because propaganda and using those bitter words against the ministry is controversial. But let's see what YAHAWASHI said about that controversy. It says, Isaiah 35 verse 8, for it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Israel. Now let's read that in the NLT, right? It says, for it is the day of Yahweh's revenge, the year when Edom will be paid back for all it did to Israel. And like I said, if you look, I didn't say this before, but if you look at the dollar and you see what currency runs the world, you see the face on it. That is the face of this enterprise, of this corporation, the United States of America, which is Babylon the Great. Okay? And the Most High is going to pay back Edom for all it did to Israel. Look, in the NLT it says, the streams of Edom will be filled with burning pitch, and the ground will be covered with fire. That is the lake of fire. That is the destruction of Babylon the Great, which Edom is the king of. He's the pharaoh of this spiritual Egypt. And I like how they actually put the name Edom or Idumea within the NLT, because it makes it plain. But they'll be recompense for all of their iniquities and their accusations of the innocent. Okay, so let's move on to Jeremiah 16 and verse number 14. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north. The land of the north is talking about North America, okay? It says, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So this is the second Exodus, okay? This is, like I said, this is spiritual Egypt. And blessed are your eyes if they can see, okay? Because many is not going to understand. They're not going to believe that the land of the north is talking about Babylon the Great, North America, okay? So no longer, this is what the army is being set up for, the spiritual army, to fight against the evils, the wiles, and to stand against the wiles of the devil, which is the so-called white man, or Idumea, which really he's red. That's what Edom means, is red, okay? And I should end it off right there. Yeah, I'm going to end it off right there. Matter of fact, yeah. So hopefully this was edifying. The Most High, he's building up that spirit. He's built up the spiritual army to establish the kingdom of heaven to come. It's gonna be rocky, to get there. You gotta suffer the straight to get to the wide. But ultimately, we prophesying for the downfall of Babylon the Great. And Lord willing, this was edifying. Stay tuned for another video. All praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RACHAA, QADASH. Shalom.